Good morning. It's Sharifah Hardie, and I am here with another incredible show. I've done two shows so far with my dear friend Salim Amir Bey and my other dear friend Miss Frances Pullen, and each show amazed me, and that's why I love tarot readings. I love doing the cards. I love speaking the spirit because he always does something that just makes me go, oh, I know that was you, God. There's no other way. When I first did the first show with Salim Amir Bey, I was shuffling cards and the lover's card just jumped out. And we were talking about love and relationships, even though Salim said he wasn't really looking for a wife. I was looking at the cards, shuffling the cards. The lovers appeared at the bottom. Oh my God, second time. Then I actually go to do the reading, and guess what card picks up? Comes out the lover's card. And I said, Salim, you may not be looking for a wife, but I think you'll find one pretty soon. And then we went to do Frances's show, and guess what? Frances did a live reading of her own. And my grandmother came through, and my grandmother said, you were never meant to be in politics. This is what you were meant to do. And it was right in front of your face. Hey, you have to go back and watch my previous shows if you missed any of it. So one thing that I do know is that today is going to be an incredible show. I have another dear friend of mine who always loves and supports me ever since I met her, Miss Andrea L. Wehlann. Good morning, Andrea. How are you?
Good morning. So nice to be with you here. Thank you for having me.
Of course,
Thank
of
you.
course. So, in order to make this show interesting, one of the things that I decided to do is I didn't want to be one of those people who, because I love reading. I've been reading for over 30 years. I'm a third generational reader. And everybody's like, well, you should do a YouTube channel. You should do a YouTube channel. And I said, they always say, this is a general reading. If this doesn't resonate with you, then maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for someone else. And I was like, you know what? The one thing that I don't like is generalities. I love to be specific. I love to be clear. And so this reading that we do today is for you, Andrea.
Beautiful. That's so true. They do all say that. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind.
Yes, that's still true. So whatever comes up in your reading, if it doesn't resonate with you, hey, maybe it wasn't the message for you. But the other thing is, I always ask for clear signs and clear symbols. So because these signs are not my signs, they're not my symbols. It's a symbol and it's a message for you. So what we're going to do, and what I do with my shows now, and what I just made up on my own, because I just be making up stuff, is I'm going to start shuffling the cards, right? And so shuffling the cards is my signal to spirit, to God, that I am going to do a reading. Don't close your eyes, open your eyes, because we probably won't do the reading for 45 minutes. I'm just going to start shuffling. We're going to start the conversation, and we're going to see where the conversation goes. So tell me, what's been up with you?
So I close my eyes just to invoke that and saying to myself and to my spirit, like, I am ready.
Right. But I don't want you to sit there for 45 minutes being ready, because I got to let the energy flow. I got to see what's happening. I got to see what's going on. Sometimes you got to let a pot simmer. And that's what we're doing right now. We let this pot simmer. So while we're simmering, tell us what's going on in your world. What's going on with your life? You're a Reiki master. I'm a Reiki too
Yeah.
student. So tell me, what's
Good
Reiki?
for you. Good for you. I'm doing good. Ganga Moon Yoga is doing really well. I have a yoga studio here in Beamsville, and we're going to be adding some fitness classes soon.
Mhm.
I had a career shift, so I'm no longer with my employer of 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm kind of a hero's journey again in my
Mhm.
life, and trusting the universe to see what the next steps are, how I can serve. Um, yeah, interested to see how my skills and talents play out of being a yoga teacher, yoga studio owner, psych degree holder, social service worker, Reiki master, meditation teacher. I'm going to see how this all kind of weaves together for the next chapter of my life. Also, I have 7 books lined up that are ready to publish,
Mhm.
and just yeah, interested and curious to see where that route takes me. Who's going to publish the books? How they'll get out there? Who's going to be holding the titles with their beautiful faces? So a lot of things are really exciting. I feel like I've accomplished so much, but so much is standing at the doorway for me. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's beautiful. And when um I invited you to be here and to do the reading, I had no idea. I just see your post, and the one thing that I see is you have at least one book already, because I know you
mhm.
want to publish seven more, but you do have a book. You have three books. Okay,
Yeah,
let's talk
yeah.
about the three books that you have.
Yeah, I have No Matter How Dark the Stain, Poems and Inspiration for the Woman in Pain. This is a book to remind women that the light parts of your life and the dark parts are both love. I published that in 2020. No, that sounded wrong. 2021. So
Okay.
the first year of COVID, when domestic violence phone calls went up 60%.
Oh,
That
wow.
was a huge push for me. In 2022, Deeper Days 365 Yoga Inspirations for Inner Calm Amidst Chaos was published. Went right to number one in the category of yoga. And I was, yeah, that's beyond a dream come true. That book is simply how to stay calm amidst chaos, how to find inner peace each day of your life. And number three was published in 2023, Stillness in the Storm, a conscious daily journal of yoga and spiritual healing. That one also went straight to number one on Amazon in the category of yoga, and two or three in the category of mental health, which was really cool. And that book is also a journal, so there's space to write because the power of writing is a force of nature. So yeah, those are the three so far. My next book is a soul awakening book,
Mhm.
and how to awaken your soul, how I did it, how others can do it simply, and then some poetry books are ready to go. Love poems, of course.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But the one thing that couple of things stood out to me, and we're going to talk about them. But yoga, how did you start your yoga journal? Because that's obviously the pattern that I see throughout these books, is in some way you incorporate yoga into the book. So how did you begin this yoga journey? What are the benefits of yoga? What does that mean to you?
Mhm. Yeah, so let's just take the posture and what we see in culture out of the conversation. The
Okay.
poses on the yoga journals, people standing like a pretzel. Yes, it's gorgeous. But yoga actually has 293 sutras, which are like sutures.
Hmm.
Think of the word like a stitch
Hmm.
that hold the mind together. And only two of the sutras are the actual physical asana or postures. So yoga is actually to bring your energies together. We have the spiritual, physical, mental, emotional energies. And when you yoke, you unite. The word yoke is unite. You bring the two together. So it could be in prayer, it could be in meditation, it could be through the postures. There's many different ways. How this was important to me was it's the threads that hold my mind, my heart, and my soul together. And it's the tether from me to God and the universe and to love. And coming from a place of absolute darkness to the point where I thought I was just going to be dead, victim forever, die, suicide, um, and murdered, like just left for dead, which I actually was at one point. Um, I used the yogic path. There's beliefs, there's ethics, and those were my stepping stones to be able to cultivate a home, a family, and a life, a yoga studio, my books of love, of the vibration of love. I spent a lot of time switching my thoughts from fear to thoughts of love.
That is so beautiful. And I just wanted to make sure that I didn't hear you incorrectly, because sometimes especially when I'm shuffling, I get distracted. I tune out because
Mhm.
I start picking
Mhm.
up on a lot of energy. But you said you were left for dead, or did I
Oh,
imagine that?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Someone left you for tried to kill you?
Well, let's just say after being rohypnol in the drink,
Wow.
taken to like I'm not sure if it was a soccer party, a frat party, or like somewhere where there was multiple violations,
Oh,
because I do have maybe 3 to 4 specific flashbacks, and then I would go out of consciousness again. But after that, after they were finished with my body, I was left on a curb, half like, I was probably dead weight, I'll assume, and pushed out of the car on one of the busiest roads in my university town. And like left there, bra in the back pocket, underwear inside out. And it was only from freezing through the concrete that it awoken. I was awoken consciously, to just like crawl just an inch forward before the drug would take me out again, and then crawl a little bit more. But certainly could have been dead in a New York minute.
wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sending you so much love. I know it's been a journey for you. And one of the things that I always see is that the people who come out and serve and help and are there for other people who have gone through the worst horrible um experiences themselves. So thank you for being of service. Thank you for caring about other people. Thank you for writing these books, because again, they have the common theme of you want to help other people, help them reach their best possibilities. But you also talk about your new book, which it hasn't come out yet, and you have to read the book. So as much as you want to talk about awakening your soul, what does that mean, and what can people expect in this book?
Thank you for asking. This it, I really used writing poetry to transform the energies of pain, victimhood, um, shame, isolation, guilt, all of the things, massive self doubt, self hatred. I used the power of poetry, the words written, to transform into thoughts of love.
Mhm.
So when you're writing, you can see the words, which means they're out of your mind so they can no longer ruminate and hurt you. But then what I did with the power of the pen was, and through the power of prayer, is to rewrite the stories and make a love story out of the hate. And what I tell everybody is that the mind that creates the horror and the nightmares in your life is the same mind that creates the love stories out of your life. And so this is for anybody. So how could I not share this with people?
Mhm.
But what I did after that day, when I finally came through consciousness, it must have been a really strong dose, because I was quite unconscious and floating between the two for at least 24 hours. At least it was
And no one
really.
saw you?
Pardon?
No one saw you?
No one.
Wow.
No, even to the point when I got to a toilet to see the bra fall and the underwear inside out, it was like I still had a moment of like, and then I was out again, and just it was all by myself. But what I did after, like, I don't know, I ended up crawling to the church. There was a church 1 block away, a Catholic church, and I crawled on my knees, and I I I prayed for a good 2 years. But being me and writing since 7 years old and having that divine gift of the power of the pen, the power of poetry within me, I wrote every prayer. I wrote them all out. And I think probably because I hated myself so much or didn't believe in myself so much, that I felt that I had to work extra hard. So I didn't just pray in the church, but I prayed in the church, and I prayed in my heart, and I prayed in my mind and in my soul, and I wrote it all down. And now I know why. I know that I have that gift, or I was able to transform or overcome, so that other people can use that story and overcome what they need to for themselves. I know it's not for me that I
Mhm.
survived. I know it's part of a greater whole. And my yoga teaches me that beyond the chaos of the mind, there is a stillness, there's a river, and that's where we are all united in this intricate uh, web of life, of love.
That is so beautiful. And just listening to you, I just want to say this, and this is more for the listeners or the people who are tuning in. Again, just knowing you and knowing your spirit, but just hearing you, you make it sound easy. I mean, even just the crawling, you're like, I crawled to the church and I got to the church and I prayed for 2 years. There had to have been a moment where you were, let me just use the word affected, because it just sounds like
Yeah.
this is, and I went to, it
Mhm.
sounds like a story, and that's
Mhm.
one of the things that people say is that when you can tell your story, in a certain way, then you know that you are healed. But let me just ask the question, was this easy for you?
It was hard as hell.
Mm,
I don't know. I'm sure I've been to hell 12 times, but this is sitting here is hard.
mhm,
It's hard,
mhm.
and it's alone, and it's worth it.
Well, I can tell you, you're not alone. If anyone is here, I am here. I tell people all the time, because they always say, well, somebody said that to me the other day. Actually, my friend Jaslyn O'Neill, shout out to Jazz in Nevada. And she's like, and I'm in Nevada and I don't have a village. I'm all alone. And I told her, I said, Jazz, you are not alone. Call me anytime. I've been in the political arena. This is your first election. Don't worry about bothering me. If you ever need a friend, and that's to anybody, to you, to the listeners, if you ever need a friend, if you ever need to speak to someone, please call me, because I know,
Yep.
and I'm 49 this year. I'll be 50 in March. So I'm
Yay.
excited. I'm feeling that 50.
Yep.
And I for once in my life know what I was meant to do and what I was called to do. And what I was called to do is to be of service. I'm just, and I've known that for years. I just didn't know how it was going to show up.
Hmm. Yeah. So I just turned 50. I have to tell you how beautiful you look.
Thank you.
It's all that's floating in my mind is she looks so beautiful. I had to sneak it in there.
Thank you.
Um, and I just turned 50.
When?
July 7. 7
Okay.
7. Yeah.
Now that tells, you know what? Oh, this is so good. I love my shows. I love my shows. So I keep telling everybody that out based, first of
Mhm.
all, I saw so much division in the world, right? And I decided I didn't want to go further into politics. I didn't want to go into that energy. I wanted to do it a different way. And so all of a sudden I've been moved by different things to go into doing more readings, to go into mediumship, to go into that sort of thing. And I don't resonate with everyone. Obviously, you don't resonate with everyone. You can see certain people and you like, you know what? I wish them well. I think they're amazing. It's not a knock against those people, but sometimes you are led to certain people. And I was scrolling through Instagram, and all of a sudden, I kept seeing these John Edward reels. And I don't know if you're familiar with John Edward or not, but I think Edward is amazing. I know I'm going to meet him one day. All the people that I really resonate with, for some reason, I wind up meeting these people. I draw them to
Mhm.
whatever on my path, because they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right. So I was seeing these Instagram reels, and then I go to YouTube and I watched 2 episodes of John Edward on Howie Mandel's show. And then there was a link to a course that John Edward taught through Hay House on how to develop your own psychic abilities and tarot. He doesn't teach tarot, but he mentions it. But I took this course. It's 4.5 hour Hay House course, and part of the course in it was numerology. So he taught more on numerology and how to take your name and make it into the number, whatever
Yeah.
your number is. And I did mine, and Sharifah comes out to a 7. And then I kept seeing everywhere it was like 7 is the number of God's number, God's number. And I was like, oh my God. And so even when you say 7, I'm like, yes, now I see it. I see it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm studying numerology as well. Again, I studied it
Mhm.
before to heal.
Me
I
too.
studied everything. I studied everything. I certified in tarot,
Yes.
feng shui,
Yes.
like restoring eye health. I took everything. I took like Dr. Phil said once, you need 10 I love yous to erase one I hate you.
Oh, wow. That's
Similar. Like, don't quote me on that, but
right.
you get the concept. So when I was healing, I studied everything that was the opposite of you know
Right.
the things I felt. So I'm just studying numerology again, and just learning that the chart you're talking about is like Pythagorean, the chart or something
Yes.
where you
Yes.
count the vowels and
Yes.
the
Yes.
number and the total.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm just doing that right now, which is so interesting. As I'm
Did you do
wondering,
your name?
I did my name, but I forget right now. I know my life path number is 369,
Okay.
like my life path 369, the numbers of the universe.
Okay.
Um,
No, let's do it. If I can find my glasses, we can do it.
yeah, yeah.
What the hell did I do with my glasses? I done lost my glasses. That's what happens when you get to be my age. If you
Yeah,
can't.
I hear you on that one because I just turned 1 year older than you.
Oh,
But
I found them. They were on
see,
this side. That's the thing. That's
I
the
have.
thing.
I'm still squinting. I haven't bought a pair yet.
I got these. I love these glasses.
Uh,
They I get the reason I love them is because first of all, Amazon. Three pair, right? Like Amazon. Everything is Amazon.
All my
Okay.
books are on Amazon.
That's go Amazon. All my books. I have 4 books now. Um,
Wow!
yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. My favorite, really, out of all of them, is the last one I just did, which is Path to Politics. Right.
Wow!
So if anyone who ever wants to decide that they want to go into politics, I actually lay out the path because there is a path. I was running for governor, and that would have been my 3rd election. So I ran for city council, I ran for Senate, and I was really, really proud of my run for Senate because it was my 2nd time.
I was
And
following that. You did amazing. I was
thank
following
you.
that. That was inspirational.
Thank you. You
You're
know,
welcome.
it changed me. It changed me in ways that I never expected, right? Um, one of the things that changed for me is that going through this election, I truly understood beyond a shadow of a doubt at this point that it, it's all rigged. And I didn't want to start sounding like Donald Trump. It's rigged. It's rigged. But you know what? It's rigged, right? And
Oh, I can see that.
no, I'm just saying honestly, because the reason I realize that is number one, they tell you before any endorsement, right? So what's supposed to happen in a fair and impartial election is you don't have a pick. Everybody comes to this meeting where everyone gets to speak, and then they endorse someone.
Mhm.
Okay, way months prior to this endorsement meeting, they pick someone. They say, hey, this is our guy, right? And they tell everyone, this is our guy. This is who we're voting for. So basically, even the endorsement meeting is just like a show. It doesn't mean anything because they already have a pick. Um,
Mhm.
and so
Wow.
I saw that. And then the night of the election, I wound up with 17,000 votes, right? The guy who beat me, he didn't win, but he beat me because they put him in to make me lose, right? That's what happened. They told me this. Like, they're telling me all this stuff. We don't want you to win, so we're going to put him in. So I received 17,000 votes. He received 18,000 votes. So if anyone out there, and if my math is wrong, tell me, like, that's literally 1,000 votes more than I did. But election night, when we're watching this, he was always exactly 1,000 votes higher than me. So if I was at 2,000, he was at 3,000. If I was at 4,000, he was at 5,000. If I was at 8,000, he was at 9,000. And I said, you know what? There's no way humanly possible. With numbers, you can always be exactly at the same amount. That tells me somebody's changing, let me say, affecting, manipulating. That's the word. Somebody's
Yep.
manipulating the numbers,
Yeah.
because if you're just counting votes and it's that close, I should be a little bit ahead. He should be a little bit ahead. He should be, it should change. It should be random. There was nothing random. It was always exactly 1,000 votes. I get to 16,000. He's at 17,000. I'm at 17,000. He's at 18. I said, you know what? But I didn't want to be, one of those people who just complained, and one of those people,
Mhm.
um, you know,
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, you could see through the veil. You got to see through the veil.
Yes. And I was going to do it again, but then I was like, you know what? So back
Yeah.
to our beautiful story, which is what I was talking about. And I did this shout out on my first show with Salim Amir Bay. I want
Mhm.
to do a shout out to, if anyone hasn't seen them, if anyone watches YouTube videos, I have to shout out Butch Tarot. On all the YouTube videos, Butch Tarot is my favorite reader. He's amazing. He's incredible. I've been following Butch for about 5 years. And the funny thing about following him for 5 years is that there were times in my life, and he really focuses on love. He's just hopeful romantic. I learned that phrase from a dear friend of mine. Shout out to Ren at the Dragon and the Rose. One day I said hopeless romantic, and she was like, "No, it's hopeful romantic. You have to be hopeful." And ever since then, I'm like, I'm a hopeful romantic. Now, Butch is a hopeful. You see why I didn't want you to close your eyes? Because your eyes would have been closed for
I
me.
gotta write that down. I'm sorry. I need a New York minute again. Oh, hopeful romantic.
Yes,
Preach.
right. So Butch is a hopeful romantic. And the reason I love watching him is Butch always does this thing where he shuffles the cards. I guess I'm kind of in a way, our styles are similar because he does his reading at the beginning and then he rambles for an hour. I ramble for an hour and then I do my reading. But the reason I love him is because it's not about the cards. And whenever I hear a reader say, well, the card said, and the card said, and the card said, the cards confirm. If you are picking up the energy, you are picking up the message, you are receiving what the client needs to know, and the cards confirm what you are saying. And so what Butch does is he does the reading, he lays out the cards, and he literally rambles for an hour. And he goes off on these tangents, and then at the end he goes, I know I was rambling, but be safe, take care, I love you. At the end he always has basically the same message. And I'm like, Butch was rambling, but you know what? He said exactly what I needed to hear. Exactly. He tells this story, and you cannot help but to relate to the story that he's telling you. So when I decided to do this, I said, I don't want to go straight into the cards. I want to have a conversation. I want to get a feel for this person and in their energy. I don't want to just say, Andrea, what's your problem? What you want me to read for? Because maybe what you thought you were coming here for is not what you needed to hear. And by the time we have this conversation, if nothing else, I'm pretty sure there's something that we get out of it. So that's why I wanted to give a shout out to Butch Tarot. I wanted to give a shout out to Ren at the Dragon and the Rose, because one thing that I know for sure is that no man's an island, which is why I wanted to read for some of my friends and say, you know what? This is a new chapter of my life. Personally, this is really what I want to do. Can you come on here? Can you help me? Because people are like, I am not going on a live to get no reading. No, yes, you are. Because I need your help right now in order to grow this aspect of what I want to do with the rest of my life. So, like Butch, shout out to Butch again. I love you. I've been going on tangents, and if anybody works with spirit and confirm, you can tell me if I'm not. Spirit takes you all over the place.
Mhm.
Like you're like going around the mulberry bush, and you're like, I don't even know how we got here. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
It's a beautiful dance to me because you're talking to so like I'm connected to my spirit, right? With the yoga, that's one of the gifts of yoga is it's inside. There's a whole kingdom. Like if you think your life is great on the outside, there is a kingdom of peace, of love, compassion inside. And going in and using the yogic path and practicing and stillness practice and meditation, you really get to know all these aspects of yourself. So listening to you talk is like, for me, it's like pings of light. Number four, what you're saying, shout out to everyone looking for help. Yes, call me too. I'm part of that. There's like pings of like, yes, I just left a message for a friend last night that said you are not an island. So I get, for me, it's like getting pings of light, like stars hitting me. And then also the other words you're saying in between is just like this. It's just a beautiful dance. It's a beautiful dance.
Yes. So we're going to dance some more. So this is the first time that I'm doing this again. I did like you. I've done a lot of this 20 something years ago, and then I was like, oh my God, the people will think I'm crazy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They'll stone me if I go in this direction. And now I'm like, I'll be 50. I could go in whatever direction I want. You know, I have that confidence. I tell people now I got that old lady confidence. Old ladies don't care what
Oh
you
my
think.
God. I'm not ready. Okay.
That's okay. 7-7. That means you
Like
are blessed.
for the old lady part, I'm not ready. But
You got at least another 50, 60 years. But
okay, that's
um,
where I'm at. Thank
number
you.
7, they said that's
Oh,
the number of the gods. Like
oh
I
yeah.
watched this Instagram video and they're like, the prophets and all these different people, number 7. But what we're going to do right now, this is going to be fun to see, is we're going to do the numerology right now on your name, Andrea. Right? So
Yeah.
we have the A, and the A is a 1. The N is a 5. The D is a 4. The R is a 9. The E is a 5, and the A is a 1. So we have 154 951. So 1 and 5 is 6. 6 and 4 is 10. 10 and 9 is 19. 19 and 5 is 24. And oh my God. Now I'm going to do that again. I just want to make sure. 1 and 5 is 6. 6 and 4 is 10. 10 and 9 is 19. 19 and 5 is 24. And 24 and 1 is 25. And what is 25?
7.
7. I love life. I am loving life. This is so good. This
Ask,
is so
ask
good.
my shoe size.
I wish. I wish.
7.
I wish.
My
I
ring
wish.
size? 7.
7.
Yeah.
So that means you are just blessed and highly
My
favored.
miscarriages?
7.
7.
When a number repeats, it's God's way of saying pay attention. So you are, everything you went through is so that you can help someone else. They say that's the number of prophets. So go ahead and let us know. But you're changing lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I've been shuffling, I've been shuffling, I've been shuffling, I've been shuffling. I've been focusing on your energy. I've been focusing on the conversation. So we're going to get to the reading. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's fine. If you want to close them, because I'm going to be talking for about 30 minutes because I always go on tangents. So I always recommend that people stay with me. And so for me, I like to do a lot of explaining about the cards. And one of the things that I want to do, and my goal in this life, is to make the whole aspects of readings. I want to bring it more to the mainstream as something that is not something only certain people can do. There's always been this veil of secrecy around it, surrounding it, and I don't want that. I want people to understand that everyone is psychic. Everyone can tap into their abilities. Some people are naturally better, just like some people can sing better, dance better, whatever it is naturally. And then some people do spend a lot of time in training. But we're going to start with your first card, which out of everything you're going through, your overall mission. And I love what you said at the beginning about going on this new journey, this new shift, which again, I had no idea about. But guess what? Divine perfect timing. Everything happens in divine perfect timing and divine perfect order. So right now is when you were meant to receive this message. So out of everything, let me keep shuffling. Out of everything that you're going through, the card that I have for you is the 7 of Swords. Right?
As you were saying that, like on my screen there's a live countdown, and as you were saying the card you're pulling, it was a 7 on your face.
It's telling you that you
And
are
again,
surrounded by 7s. So I love that, especially in terms of everything that you're going through with a shift. Some people, first of all, I don't read reversals. I don't believe,
yeah.
first of all, because I don't believe that absolutely nothing in life is all bad, right? I always believe that there's a blessing in every curse. That's one of the things that I became stronger and stronger about. And we talked about going through COVID and this pandemic, that I was like, there's a blessing in every curse. Because one thing that happened during COVID, aside from that you were motivated to write all these books, was that they said that more people and more families were sitting at dinner together than ever before.
Yeah.
Families were coming together. Domestic abuse might have went
Beautiful.
up because you're locked in a room and locked in a house and you have all these emotions and there's a lot of fear there. But people came together, so there's a blessing in
Mhm.
every curse. And
Yeah.
so, especially being your main issue, the Seven of Swords, many people read that as deceit. That's because they're like, oh, let me look at the worst case scenario. For me, the Seven of Swords is my Trojan horse card, which means that sometimes you have to go about things a different way. Sometimes if you walked up to the door, you're not going to get the same results. So sometimes you have to go in the house a different way. And the reason that's the Seven of Swords, because it reminds me of the Trojan horse, in that when they went into war, they used the Trojan horse to get through the gate, right? Because if the other side would have known that they were coming, they would have sent the army out to meet them. But they didn't know that the Trojan horse had all the soldiers inside the Trojan horse. And then when they went in the gate, all the soldiers jumped out and then took over this kingdom, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
whenever I see the Trojan horse, excuse me, the Seven of Swords, that's my symbol that whatever you're doing, your main issue right now, you may have to approach it a different way. You may have to go about it a different way. This situation is something that you cannot go head on to. Swords, a seven. We talked, I think, at length about sevens, but swords are ideas, they're information, they're thoughts. So if you think about this situation and what you're going through, you'll find a way to get to where you want to go. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
What deck are you reading from?
Oh my
The
God.
Rider Waite?
No,
The
no.
Rich? No.
No, I'm gonna show you because I showed it on the first show and I said I need to put
Okay.
this in the description, and I probably need to show this every time.
Well,
But
it's just because I have so many. That's why I was asking.
oh no, no, it's a great
Yeah.
question, which I
Okay.
should mention. This is my third show. So I'm getting a little bit, I'm getting my sea legs is what I call it, and I'll find
Beautiful.
out what works, what doesn't, what
Mhm.
resonates, what doesn't. It's cool. I'm not tripping. I know that the 50th show or the 100th show is not going to be like the first couple of
Yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
right? So it's the Arcanum Tarot, right?
Oh,
And I saw this one and it resonated to me with me.
wow. I've
And it
never seen
jumped
that
out
one.
to me because why? Because I am a hopeful romantic. And for me, love is what the essence of what God is. Love is the most important thing. And just look at these two people. And that's why when I was reading for Salim, like in addition to the three times it basically jumped out or appeared, I also showed him the box and said, this is why I got this box, is because look at those two people. Have you ever seen two
Aw.
people more in love than that's on this box? And I said, and that's the lover's card. That's the one that kept
Beautiful.
jumping up. And then I did my second reading with Frances, and the one that stood out for her was the strength card. And I just thought this deck was so beautiful and I loved it. I was
Mhm.
like, I have to have it. And this is the if you want to get it, it's the Arcanum Tarot.
Oh, okay, beautiful.
It is so beautiful. I just love it. Right?
Mhm.
So, Seven of Swords, going about it a different way. Trojan horse. Not everybody needs to see you coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just take over and they're like, where'd she come from? I think you take it over Amazon. That's what we're going to go for. But over it, you have the Page of Swords, right? So, the Page of Swords is about
Mhm.
messages. So, Page of Swords for me is new information coming to you because pages are messengers. The pages always delivered the message of the king. The king was fat. The king was lazy. The king was not going to get up. His job was to sit on the throne. That's what he was meant to do. So pages always sent the message of the king. If the king wanted a sandwich, he sent the message to the cook. If the king wanted his whatever, he needed whatever. He wanted he needed his horse out in front. He sent the page to deliver the message. So pages are always message. Swords, once again, is information. So that tells me that someone is going to deliver some information. It could be email, it could be a phone call, it could be a text, it could be a carrier pigeon. But whatever situation that you're going through, you need more information. But that information, that message is going to come to you because what your next card is the Page of Pentacles, right? Pages. information coming to you. And the page of pentacles, pentacles being money, but it's also the physical manifestation of money, right? So especially in a political election and political, when you're campaigning, you always need people to give you money. And people would always say, I believe in you, I support you, Sharifah. And I would say, yeah, and I need the physical manifestation of that support. I need the physical manifestation of your belief. When you go to church, they always tell you to tithe, because that's the physical manifestation of your prayer. It's saying, I believe, and because I'm believing, I'm sowing into this belief. So pentacles, it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going to write you a check. But what it does mean is that whatever you need for this journey, you're going to receive the physical manifestation of that. Maybe you need a new house, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to get $100,000 for that house. But guess what? Maybe somebody you saw you and was like, you know what? She's doing a lot of good in this world. Let me just leave her this house. Let me just give her this house. So it's the physical manifestation or whatever you need, right? Again, a page being messages. It means that somebody's going to give you a message or send you a message of, hey, here's some money, here's something that's going to help you on your journey. But that's the page of pentacles, because the next card that you have is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is beautiful, especially a beautiful omen, because cups is emotions, it's feelings, right? And so the Knight, I love the energy of the Knight. The energy of the Knight, if you think about pages, right? The pages energy is somewhere between 13 and 20. It's usually a young teenage boy who delivered the message of the king, whereas the knight is someone 20-ish, 30-ish, right? And the reason that knight is of that age is because you think of a 20-year-old boy, right? What a 20-year-old boy does is usually maybe 22, usually finished high school, he's usually finished college, so he knows everything, only to realize he don't know shit, right? Because he's the
Sorry.
king. The king is the one who's established. The king has a kingdom. What a 20-year-old boy is doing is trying to figure it out. He has the information, he has the knowledge, which resonates with me because this is a new journey that you're going on. So you know what to do, but this is the practical application of you on beginning this new journey, is you starting out. It's a battle. You're going, but use your heart. You stay in your heart space. If you stay in your heart space, you will get to that 50-year-old experience of being the king, of being the queen, but it comes through all the battles that you go through. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the next card you have is the energy of the past, which is the sun. The sun. Some people consider this a card that if you get this card, there's pregnancy, but it's also a card of new life. I love the sun. It's a beautiful card. I love this deck. I love this deck. But the sun for me is my Annie card, right? So I'm almost 50. I love to say that. But if you've ever seen the movie Annie, um, the movie Annie, what's the song in Annie? The sun will come up tomorrow. So it's
Mm.
a very positive that you're not seeing with the energy of the moon. There's new hope. That's why they say pregnancy, because there's new life. This is a new life. This is a new journey. But because the sun is out, you can see it clearly. There's no clouds. There's nothing hiding, that you cannot see. This is a card of hope. This is a card of renewal, right? And I just love it. I think it's beautiful. There's nothing hidden. And because the sun was in the past, I love doing readings for people. Your next card is the High Priestess,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
I love the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a major arcana card. Major arcana cards for me, arcana means change, right? So major arcana cards are major life changes. These are major things that change the course of history. These are your births, these are your deaths, these are things where life will never be the same. Another thing, again, that's why I like to have the conversation. Some people say you shouldn't know anything because then you can tell them and then they know, okay, I didn't just tell her that. I'm like, I'm trying to be of service, right? So I need to know where you're at in order to tell you where I think you should go. So when you said after 12 years you left your job, right? This is a new journey. So that's a major life change. Even when you said it this morning, it's a part of your life where the course of history has changed. You didn't just leave it for today on Tuesday and be like, you know what, but I'll be back on Wednesday. No, that's it. That's all. That chapter of your life is closed, right? So the high priestess, a major life change, is saying trust your intuition, trust yourself, trust what you know, trust what you feel. It may not be logical, it may not be rational. Some people will tell you, girl, why go back and get that job, go work for somebody, it's safe, it's secure, and you're like, that's not what works for me. Go get a job. No, that I have to trust my path. I have to trust what I'm called to do, and that's what the high priestess talks about. And then the next card is the Three of Swords. I always read the Three of Swords as sorrow. And there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of pain. And I was having a conversation with my friend. I love to shout out people. My friend Alice, shout out to Alice. It's so funny because I did a reading for her and we were talking and I was telling her because I was about to do her reading. I said, there are no negative cards in the deck. There's nothing negative, nothing. I said, because there's always a blessing in every curse. And she literally said to me, she was like, well, what about the Three of Swords? I don't see anything positive in the Three of Swords. And we did her reading, and guess what came up as the final outcome in her reading? The Three of Swords, right? Now, Alice, see, I'm like Butch. I go off on these tangents, but I'll bring it back eventually. I'm rambling. But Alice had just went through this breakup, and she was really hurt because she's single, she doesn't know where to go, and at the end of the day she gets the Three of Swords. God is telling her yes, and I told her, I said, but Alice, acknowledge the pain, acknowledge the sorrow, right? Because what this sorrow is about death, but not a literal death. Your job, 12 years, it died, it's over. It's not a literal death, but does that mean that there's no pain, there's no grief, there's no hurt? So the blessing in this curse of the Three of Swords is that it's over, it's final, it's done. The pain that you felt in the past is gone, and everything is out in the open. There's nothing else that's going to come at you. There's no, you know what I mean? The past is over, but it's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to feel the sorrow. It's okay to feel whatever it is that you feel. But the next card is the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands. Can you see the ace? I'm trying to get, there it is. I think you should see it. So it's the Ace of Wands. It's
Turn it a little. Turn it towards me. Add to light. Okay.
So much light in that card, you can't even see it. But it's a one wand and it's on fire, which to me symbolizes you, girl. This is Alicia Keys' Girl on Fire. So I like to give songs, to then I can listen to them. And that girl is on fire. That's what it's saying. You are on fire, right? So it's the ace. To me, if I get an ace, I'm like, yes. Because what people don't understand is that the tarot cards are all numerology. Everything comes down to numbers, which we talked about earlier. And so you think about the ace, and then you go all the way to 10. So aces are beginnings, and 10 is completion. 10, everything is over. 9, you basically complete, like 2025. We're in a year of a 9. So the cycle that we've been on as a society, as a people, that's over. And in 2026, when I party and when I'm 50 years old, it's complete. It's done. It's time for celebration. But I always tell people, think of the numbers. Everyone's received that survey from some company, right? Where the company was like, rate our customer service on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you hate us and we suck, and 10 being, oh, you provided the best service ever. It's the same thing in the minor arcana, going from all the way to 10. So the 0 is the ace. but we all know zero is infinite, right? So wands being creative in your creativity, and you got a zero, the ace of wands, is telling you you have infinite possibilities. There are infinite possibilities for you. There's not finite possibilities. It's not saying, Andrea, you can only go this far. Andrea, you got to do it this way, but you got to do it a certain way. So sometimes you have to do it a certain way, but there are infinite possibilities. The other thing about aces being zero, I always equate that to an unborn baby in the mother's stomach before the baby is born. It has infinite possibilities. It can be a president, it could be a doctor, it could be a lawyer, it could be a criminal, right? It could be anything, but because it has infinite possibilities in the mother's womb, it's not tangible. Once it becomes tangible, it actually has less power. Why? Because it hasn't gone in any direction. It can choose to be on fire. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So your next card is justice, the justice card. And one of the things that they always say is that justice is blind. So that means whatever happens is karmic, is whatever is a direct result of what has happened in the past. That's what this is about. And it's is you getting what you earn, getting what you deserve. And for somebody who's written, published 3 books, and somebody who has 7 more books come out, that's somebody who didn't wake up and go, I'm cute. I think you should just give me the world. No, this is somebody who has done her work, gone through the sorrow, gone through the pain, gone through the hard times, and now reaping the rewards of all the hard work that you've done, right? So at the end of the day, because we done went through, this is my readings, I call the mulberry bush. We done went through the mulberry bush, and tarot is called the fool's journey. And the reason it's called the fool's journey is because there's an expression that said God protects fools and infants. And the reason God protects fools and infants on the fool's journey is because fools and infants can become open and honest and innocent. They're the only 2 people on earth that don't think they know every freaking thing. I know this, I know that. I have my degree in this, I have my degree in that. So guess what? Nobody can teach you anything, right? So the 10th card is the final outcome, which means that Sharifah, you done said all that, you done rambled, you done said this. What's gonna happen? Where am I at on this path? I don't even want to show you that card. I'm not gonna show you. And that was our show for today. Thank you for tuning in.
Bring it.
9 of Pentacles, baby. There you go. The 9 of Pentacles. So the 9 of Pentacles is one of my most favorite cards. And it actually, it's like cards change over time. And this is one of the cards that change, because I always tell people that everybody has read for me. And whenever they read for me, they're like, Sharifah, you're going to have a lot of money. You're going to be successful. You're going to be this. You're going to be this. And I'm like, but there ain't no love. Where's the man? Like, I need to get married. I want to get married. I want to settle down. I want to live happily ever after. So I kept, the 9 of Pentacles is what we as readers call stalking me. It kept stalking me, like it kept showing up, and I was like, man, I'm lonely, right? So I started to really read it and research it. And one thing about the 9 of Pentacles is that just because she's in the garden chilling, it doesn't mean that she's alone. I mean, her people could be in the house. There could be a lot of people around her, just not in that picture. Her husband could be at work. He's not just in that picture. But 9, like we talked about earlier, is you reached a certain level of completion. And the one thing that I love about the 9 of Pentacles is that you can't, I want you to see her face. Maybe that's better. But she's not worried. Does she look scared? Does she look worried? She ain't trying to figure it out. You know what that lady is doing? She is chilling in her garden. She has all this money around her. She had all this physical manifestation around her. She has a beautiful blue dress, blue, life, green. Her garden is green. If they wanted this to be about sorrow and pain and death, her garden would look dried out. Her garden wouldn't have had any water. Nobody, but she's peaceful. She has life around her. She has animals around her. And she's going into the 10 of Pentacles, right? And so there's only one thing, all the cards again is growth. And there's only one thing that separates or makes a difference between the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. In the Ten of Pentacles is my generational wealth card. It means that there's more than enough. So in the Nine of Pentacles, she has enough for her. She has enough in her bank account. She has enough to go to Amazon. She has enough to buy her a dress. Does that mean she can leave her grandkids $5 million? No, she hasn't reached that level yet. Ten of Pentacles, generational wealth, legacy, but right now she has a more than enough for her. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does the reading resonate with you?
100%.
Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. Well, we did another reading today. I enjoyed it. We just hit the 55 mark. Like I said, I'm going to ramble for about a while before we even get to the reading. We're going to close this reading out, so I want to give you some final words. Some time for some final words. What you want to tell the people?
Oh, me. Oh, I thought you had final words.
I'm going to get to my final words. This on you. Give you a moment.
Yeah. I just want to tell you, wherever you are in your life, you can handle hard things. I'm here to help you. gangamoonyoga@gmail.com. Find my books on Amazon. Andrea L. Wehlann, Wehlann, or any bookstore that you like. Barnes & Noble, Indigo Chapters if you're in Canada. Ganga Moon Yoga on Facebook, Instagram. You are not alone. The light parts of your life and all of the dark ones are both love. There is no way the creator can create something less than what it is, and you are part of it. So keep going, and you are destined for greatness. And I just want to say thank you to the universe, to love, to light, to the numbers, and to you. Thank you for having me, Sharifah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Once again, I'm having so much fun. I'm having so much fun doing this. I love it. And from what I'm told from the previous people who were here with me, they receive so much out of it. And that's me. What I'm here to do is to be of service. If you want to be a guest, if you want me to do a reading for you, you can go to my website at readmelive.com, schedule your reading, and you'll be sitting right there where Andrea is. Until next time, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. God bless you. I'm out.